What's up, YouTube? Your boy back once again with another sport topic, and today we're gonna talk some football, Houston Texans football. Now that the NFL season's over, regular season, postseason, and the Super Bowl, we can get to talk about some of the things that everybody been ready to talk about. NFL draft, what team gonna draft for a player, what team might move up in the draft to draft a certain player, NFL free agency, what team is gonna sign a certain free agent, what free agent might ask for a big contract or possibly a trade, what team might trade a player, and things like that. We're gonna talk about all type of stuff. But before we get in there, sometimes you gotta take care of home first. We're gonna break it down before we get in there. Like I'm telling you before, if you're liking the content, make sure you're liking the channel. Make sure you're watching all the videos, you comment on all the videos, you liking all the videos, you sharing all the videos on all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, any type of social media platform you use. Make sure you share on the same social media platforms. Also, follow me on social media as well. The link in the description below. We're still in the race to get to 6,000 subscribers. You know what that means? I need you to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell another friend, so they can tell another friend, so they can tell some more friends and put them on game with the channel, so the channel gets growing and growing and growing and growing. Really, really appreciate that. Now, like I was telling y'all before, man, sometimes before we get into all the free agency talking, who we gonna sign and trade and things like that, sometimes you gotta take care of home first. And the player that I'm looking at is Nico Collins. Nico Collins had a career year this past year. And also only has 1 year left on his contract. Now, that's kind of a dangerous territory. And sometimes, especially with a receiver that has a high level of production in this 1 year and potentially has a contract year, another year that he could possibly have another high level of production, sometimes you want to get in front of some of these things. You want to get in front of some of these contract talks and things like that before the price tag gets extremely too high. So when you look at Nico Collins, this year he had 80 catches, was 21st in the NFL this year. He had 1,297 yards, which was 8th in the NFL this year. He had averaged 16.2 yards per catch, which was 7th in the NFL this year. He had 8 touchdowns, which was tied for 8th this year. So outside catching, he outside of his catches, because his catches was 21st, he was a top 10 receiver in all the other categories: yards per catch, and touchdowns. So that was his second to last year on the contract. This would be his last year on the contract. If I'm the Houston Texans, I want to get, like I just said, I want to get ahead and get the front before this becomes an actual potential problem. And I want to give Nico Collins a contract extension. I think he's earned the right to be in the conversation and get a contract extension. And if I'm the Houston Texans, if I'm Nick Caserio, what I am doing, what I would be doing, I would give him a contract extension. Not nothing too crazy, but you want to get ahead before you allow him to enter free agency, because if he enters free agency or he plays at this level, plays at this level, this exact level, or duplicates that or play above that in his contract year, and he has 2 years with that level of production, we're talking about guys that's possibly getting $25 million per year. Easy. Franchise tag him, it's going to be around that. And he's going to be asking for that. And what I mean by that, when you look at the contracts of the NFL receivers average per year, because that's what really hurts the cap, is with how much money they're making per year, not the total numbers of the contract. Number one, Tyreek Hill, $30 million a year. Devontae Adams, number two, $28 million a year. Cooper Kupp, number three, $26.7 million a year. A.J. Brown, number four, $25 million a year. DK Metcalf and Stephon Diggs both tied at 24. They're both tied at 5 with $24 million a year. Deebo Samuel's seventh with $23.8 million a year. Scary Terry, 8 at $23.2 million a year. DJ Moore, ninth with $20.62 million a year. Keenan Allen, 10th with $20.2 million a year. Mike Williams, Cooper Kupp, and Chris Godwin. I mean, not Cooper Kupp, Amari Cooper. Mike Williams, Amari Cooper, and Chris Godwin all tied at 11 with $20 million a year. Deontay Johnson at 14 with $18.35 million a year. And Christian Kirk at 15 with $18 million a year. Nico Collins coming into this season, he's only going to be making $1.3 million a year. If you allow him to have a season like he just had, or even better, he's going to at least get $24 million a year. Now, if you're perfectly fine with losing him, by all means, I ain't gonna argue. If you're perfectly fine with losing him, I'm not gonna argue with you. But you want to keep him? You can't franchise tag him. He's going to be asking for that type of money if he has a level of production. I'll do you one better. Look at T. Higgins. I'm pretty sure T. Higgins is a free agent this year. We all know that. I'm pretty sure people would think that T. Higgins is going to be in the top 10 for yard. I mean, in the top 10 of numbers of $1 million per year on an annual basis. He's going to be in the top 10. He's going to crack that $20 million. Probably going to be the highest paid free agent receiver in this free agent class. T. Higgins, best year, 74 catches. That's less than Nico. 1,091 yards. That's less than Nico. His only 1,000-yard season, by the way. 6 touchdowns, less than Nico. Everything he has less than Nico. Now, he does have a season where he's had 7 touchdowns. Still, less than Nico. Nico has 80 catches. T. Higgins only has 74 in his best year of catching the football. His best year period of yards is 1,091. Nico had 1,297 yards, so 200 yards more than him. And he also had 6 touchdowns. Nico has 8. T. Higgins came in the same year as Joe Burrow, so you can't even use a quarterback argument. Well, Nico had C.J. Stroud that year. T. Higgins also played with Joe Burrow for 2 full years. Now that's one of the years that he did. It was a Super Bowl year, their second year in the league when he had that 1,000 yards. So he's played with Joe Burrow for 2 full years. You know, Joe Burrow got hurt his rookie year, and he also got hurt at the end of this season. Also, T. Higgins missed some time this year too. So you also got injury concerns, just like Nico Collins. You got injury concerns with T. Higgins. T. Higgins missed some time. I think he missed some time the year before last too, if I'm not mistaken. But Nico has a better single season than T. Higgins. And I'm saying if you allow him to have that same type of production, because if you ask anybody, we all think that C.J. Stroud is going to have, C.J. Stroud is going to have between 4,500 and 5,000 yards. We talking about between 30 to 40 touchdowns. Who you think is going to be catching those yards and touchdowns? It ain't all going to be on Tank. No matter how great you think Tank is, it's not gonna all be on Tank. Nico gonna be catching some of them yards. Nico gonna be catching some of them touchdowns. So I think with C.J. Stroud, Nico can very easily have, I'm gonna just round up, have another 1,300-yard season and possibly 10 touchdowns. If you allow him to do that, he's gonna be asking for 20 to 25 million easy. And this season this year is better than any season that Scary Terry had. Scary Terry got $23.2 million. Scary Terry has a contract for $23.2 million. Now he's had multiple 1,000-yard seasons, but Nico Collins has a better single season. And if you ask people now, people will say that Nico Collins is better than Scary Terry. Now, again, he also was in a different quarterback situation, but he was putting up 1,000 yards with different quarterbacks. But if you ask just that general question, people were going to say, I thought because, you know, what Nico Collins did this season, we did in the postseason, we did in crucial moments against the Indianapolis Colts when the game that you need to get into the playoffs. When you look at that, like I said, sometimes you want to get ahead. I want to make sure I get ahead before I don't want to pay him $26 million per year. I want to make that cap number a little bit lower. That's what I said. Not nothing crazy, because you still got CJ and Will Anderson coming up in 2028. You got Stingley possibly Tank in 2027. The reason why I bring up Tank because they play the same position. So I would want a contract around 2 to 3 years. If you give him a 2-year extension, it doesn't affect the cap this year. I think like when it comes with guaranteed money and stuff like that, that might affect the cap. But I'm talking about years, annual basis, how much they make per year, and also the years of the contract. I'm looking at something. I want to get something around under $20 million, and also want to give something that's not a lot of years tacked on. So when those contracts come up, so like I said, if you give him a 2-year deal, his contract will expire and it'll be off the books around the time that you're paying Tank and Stingley. If you give him a 3-year extension, it overlaps the contract with Tank and Stingley, but it comes off the books before you have to pay CJ, or right when you pay CJ and Will, so they contracts don't overlap. That gives you a flexibility. It gives you flexibility to make sure to negotiate contracts, and also gives you flexibility to be able to draft another receiver, possibly sign another receiver in free agency. I know people talking about Mike Williams. Mike Williams ain't taking no discount. I just named the top 15 guys annual basis per year. Mike Williams named that on there. Mike Williams has a Super Bowl already. I'm pretty sure Mike Williams wants to get paid. Then people also want to talk about, because we've heard about Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs is tied with DK Metcalf at $24 million per year. He still got 2 years left on his deal. You want to pay a 30-year-old receiver $24 million? Nico Collins is only 25, 24. He'll be 25 by the time the season starts. Both Mike Williams and Stephon Diggs are 30-year-old receivers. Because Stephon Diggs is 29. I think he'll be 30 by the time the season starts. And what you call is either 30 or he's 31 in Mike Evans. So you're possibly talking about playing 30-plus-year-old receivers plus $20 million. Well, I'm talking about giving a receiver that's a young receiver at 24, 25 years old that already has a chemistry and knows the offense with C.J. Stroud. I'm talking about giving him extension. And again, I'm giving you time. That's why I say an extension, because you already got him on contract for this year. You give him a 2, possibly a 3-year extension. That gives you another 4 years to grow a receiver, to get a receiver in this draft. I know, Paul, we can get a receiver in this draft. We can. We possibly can. But the thing is, like, one of the reasons why I want to talk about free agency before we get talking about the draft a lot is because we're picking at pick 23. We don't know who's going to be there. Yeah, we might want Keon Coleman or Troy Franklin to be there. We don't know what's going to happen. It's 22 other teams that draft in front of us. We don't know what's going to happen with those other 22 teams. We don't know. We can't control that. We're going to control what we can control. Now, if we can jump up, we can. But again, to jump up, you need a trade partner. You know, somebody's got to be willing to trade back. I know we was able to trade up and get Willie Anderson. We was able to trade up to get Nico Collins. We was able to trade up to get Tank Dell. But you got to have a trade partner. Who's to say that that person's willing to trade, and who's to say that their receiver is there? So, again, if you give him a contract extension that gives you more time, they gives you more time to possibly be able to to put her in the receiver, because you don't want to be in the situation. You don't want to be in the situation when you come up next year and he balls. He balls, has a great season, has another 1,300-yard, 10 touchdown season. Now, you didn't give him a contract extension. Now, you either got to franchise tag him, or now he's talking about getting a 4 to 5. He's talking about getting a 4-year deal, $95 million, $24 million per year. Now, you're putting them right there in the 24, 25 range. And then, again, like I just said, especially if T. Higgins, who we just said has a better regular, who's had a better season than him, a better career season than him. Nico has a better career season than T. Higgins, and T. Higgins go out there and gets a $24, $25 million. And again, other teams, they get stupid. They get absolutely stupid when it comes to free agency and overpaying guys. So a team would actually pay Nico Collins. Now, it might seem a little crazy, because I did talk about the years and stuff like that. I think a deal that could get done. 4-year, $70 million, $35 million guaranteed. That's $17.5 million. That still don't get him in the top 15, but it's a big number. It's a big number, $70 million. You got $70 million. That's a big, huge number, $70 million. Then you also got the years for year security, 4 years. That just sounds good. $35 million guaranteed. That sounds great. But what sounds good to the Texans? $17.5 million per year. So that's how much is going to be hitting the cap. And this, since it's $35 million guaranteed off a $7 million 4-year contract, only the first 2 years are guaranteed, which means if this starts getting a little bit too pricey, what you got to pay Tank, what you got to pay Sting, what you got to pay CJ, what you got to pay Will, you'll be able to get up off that contract, cut them, trade them, whatever, with 1 year left on this deal, without no guaranteed money left up on it. And you don't have to worry about any cap hits or anything like that. Or the cap hits will be very, very small and minute. Like, that's what I'm talking about. That's why it's a big contract, got a lot of years, got a lot of big numbers, and Nico thinks that, oh yeah, I'm only making $1.3 million, $70 million, averaging $35 million a year. I'm good. I think he's only made $4 million throughout his whole career, and that's adding on this 1.3 he's about to get this season. So in his whole career, he would have made $4 million total, or maybe a little bit over, like 4.5 or 4.7, something around there. Not exactly, not a complete exact number. You give this man $35 million, $35 million guaranteed. He gonna sign that, and again, you'll be able to get off the contract within a year or two, and you're only paying him $17.5 million. I'm saving you $7 million. At least I'm saving you $7 million. That's the reason why I say, so if y'all against give him a contract, now I'm not about to give him no contract extension. It's not going to affect free agency this year. for the most part. Now, the reason why I say you need to get it done before you start doing free agency is so now you know how to handle year 25, 26, 27 contracts that you talking about signing. Whoever you sign it to multi-year deals, all the phrases that you're going to be signing for multi-year deals, you want to know exactly how much money that you potentially have because you already got Nico Collins taken care of. That's the reason why I feel like you should take care of home first. That's why I brought that up about taking care of home first, because of that aspect of it. That's what I mean by taking care of home first, so you know exactly where that situation kind of floats. So you know exactly how that situation goes and how that situation floats. But when it comes to the actual contract this season, it's not going to affect the salary cap this season. And it also, like I said, it gives you flexibility within, like I said, if he's not meeting production, he's a lot of injuries, all these other type of things, or it just gets too pricey, you gotta cut somebody here or there. You have the luxury after 2 years off the contract to move off the contract with a very either no cap hit or small cap hit that doesn't really affect you. And again, like I say, you cut him after 2 years. No, you move up off him after 2 years. It's before Sting and Tank contract come into effect. And if you move off him after 3 years, it's before Will and CJ contract comes into effect. Again, everything about, because like Will and CJ, those two guys are probably going to be, CJ probably going to get a $300 million contract. Will's probably going to get $140 million contract, depending on how edge rushers contracts go. Because again, we all know it's not really about the level that you are. It's all about who's next to get paid. That's why T. Higgins' contract is going to be high. And again, if Nico Collins has another season like this season, his contract is going to be high. And that's why I'm trying to save you $7 million. $7 million, that's at least one good player or two solid players or two very good players to help out fill out your roster after saving at least $7 million. That's the only thing I'm trying to talk about. I know people like, I don't want to give him no contract. After one good season, you want to give him a contract? Yes, you want to get in front of certain situations, because if you allow them to have another season, you can be paying $24-25 million, or you're going to be letting them go. And if you're fine with letting them go, that's fine. If that's what you're cool with, you cool with fine letting them go, that's fine. My only thing about that, I don't want to put him in a situation. I know Mahomes just won back-to-back Super Bowls after he lost Tyreek Hill. I don't want a situation where we sitting there all season long like, man, our quarterback ain't got no receivers. All we got is Tank Dell. Because we seen what happened, how the offense changed once Tank Dell got hurt. We seen what was going on. And I still believe receiver's still a need. I still believe they need to go out there and draft a receiver if receiver falls to them at pick 23. If Keon Coleman is there or Troy Franklin's there, I feel like you should draft a receiver at pick 23. And again, if you want to wait to after free agency to get the deal done, or after the draft to see exactly how the draft float, to get to see exactly how to get these numbers, I'm fine with that too. Me personally, I might want to get it done. So like I said before, I know exactly what type of numbers I have going forward. How many numbers I got going forward for the guys who I am going to try to sign off the streets, for street phrases and stuff like that for year 24, 25, 26, 27, those type of contracts, stuff like that. But if you want to wait to see exactly how the draft play out, I'm all for it. But I do believe that they need to be able to find a way. And again, it doesn't have to be that type of number. It could be 2 years, $32 million, which gives you $16 million per year, or 2 years, $35 million, which is $17.5 million a year, or 3 years, $52 million, $52.5 million will get you $17.5 million a year. If you could be something like that, I'm not tripping about exactly what it is, but I do think that those are the Rams that you want to be in, because you don't want to be in that $24-25 million. You don't want to be forced in that $24-25 million. Average per year. You don't want to put yourself in that type of situation to a long contract like that, because like I said, if you allow him to have another season like that, like he just had, he in this free agency, and you don't, either you're going to franchise tag him, or you're going to be paying him $25 million per year on the franchise tag, or you're going to be giving him a 4-year, $95 million contract, at least $24 million a year. That's at least. And I'm trying to save you $7 million. Like, subscribe if you haven't, comment below if you haven't, click that bell, get more videos. I holla.